They are more than musicians. They are brothers, legends, and icons of African music. They are Africa's most famous twins, a duo that redefined Afrobeats, blending powerful vocals, energetic choreography, and unforgettable melodies.
As we step into the club, see how people just rejoice. They say, Peter and Paul, guys are keeping it so strong. See, we never ever stop. We are headed to the top. As the music we go, then all of a sudden feeling.
From small gigs in Jos to the world's biggest stage, P-Square built a legacy that few can rival. For nearly 2 decades, Peter and Paul Okoye gave us music that became the soundtrack of our lives. From Do Me to Chop My Money to No One Like You to Beautiful Onyinye, their songs were more than hits. They were cultural moments. They made us fall in love, they made us dance, and they made us proud of African music. But beyond the fame and flashing cameras was a journey far from smooth. The Okoye brothers started with little, pushing through countless obstacles and moments of doubt before the world finally embraced their sound. Success brought applause, awards, and global recognition, but it also came with pressure, disagreement, and a painful breakup that shook the music industry and left their fans longing for their return. This is the unforgettable journey of P-Square, from humble beginnings in Jos, Nigeria, to becoming one of Africa's greatest duos and cementing their legacy. Peter and Paul Okoye were born on November 18, 1981 in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. They came into the world as identical twins, the last-born boys in a large family. Their father, Moses Okoye, was a businessman from Anambra State, while their mother, Josephine Okoye, was a devoted homemaker who later became one of their strongest supporters. Growing up in Jos was an experience that shaped them in countless ways. Jos was known for being one of Nigeria's most peaceful and artistic cities, a melting pot where different cultures met. It was also a city where many future stars were raised, like Tubaba, Emma Ibaga, Ice Prince, and Jeremiah Gyang. For Peter and Paul, Jos provided the perfect background, calm, creative, and filled with inspiration. As children, the twins were inseparable. They wore matching clothes, played the same games, and were often mistaken for one another. But beyond their physical resemblance, they also shared the same interest: music, dance, and performance. Family members remember how the boys would sing and dance at home gatherings, entertain relatives with their playful routines. They attended St. Murumba Secondary School in Jos, a Catholic school known for discipline and academic excellence. It was here that their artistic side began to fully emerge. While other students focused mainly on academics, Peter and Paul threw themselves into extracurricular activities, especially school music and drama. The club became their training ground. They learned how to sing in harmony, how to perform before a crowd, and most importantly, how to use dance as a powerful expression. They idolized Michael Jackson from a very young age, often spending hours practicing his moves, memorizing his performances, and even trying to dress like him. Michael's creativity, showmanship, and ability to combine music with dance left an unforgettable impression on them. Before P-Square became global superstars, they were dancers first. In the late 1990s, Peter and Paul formed a group called Smooth Criminals, inspired by Michael Jackson's famous hits. Their goal wasn't just to copy, but was to perfect every detail of Michael Jackson's performances. They studied his footwork, his spins, his stage entrances, even his signature gloves and hat. At school talent shows, They would electrify crowds with moonwalks, flips, and synchronized routines. Their reputation grew so much that people invited them to weddings, birthdays, and events just to perform. But Smooth Criminals didn't last forever. Like many young group, members dropped off. Still, Peter and Paul stuck together, never losing sight of their shared dream. They later joined another group called MMMPP, an acronym for 5 friends named Michael, Melvin, M. Cliff, Peter, and Paul. The group performed popular R&B covers, singing To Men, Usher, and New Edition songs. Eventually, the group dissolved too, but this period taught the twins how to sing in harmony, write their own lyrics, and hold an audience. This was when Paul began shining vocally. His soulful tone reminded people of R&B and R. Kelly and Luther Vandross. Meanwhile, Peter became the energy of the group, dazzling with dance moves and crowd engagements. The balance was perfect. Paul was the heart, Peter was the fire, and together they were unstoppable. In the late 1990s, Peter and Paul enrolled at the University of Abuja, studying business administration. While they took academics seriously, their true passion was music. They spent nights rehearsing in hostel rooms, writing songs in notebooks, and practicing dance routines on the campus grounds. It was here they officially adopted the name P Square, P for Peter, P for Paul, and Square symbolizing their unity as twins. Their first taste of serious recognition came in 2001 when they entered the Grab the Mic competition sponsored by Benson and Hedges Company. The event was highly competitive because it featured some of the best upcoming Nigerian talents at the time. When P Square hit the stage, their performance was electric. The audience roared as they danced in perfect sync while delivering smooth vocals. They didn't just win, they owned the night. The victory came with funding in producing their first studio album. This was the official beginning of their professional journey. And at this time, they also joined hands with their brother Jude Okoye, who became their manager and music video director. Jude's involvement completed the triangle that would dominate African music for more than a decade. In 2003, after winning the Benson and Hedges competition, P Square released their very first album titled Last Night. For the twins, this was more than just music. It was proof that their dreams were real. They were no longer just campus entertainers or local dancers. They were now recording artists. The album contained tracks such as Senorita, Igwedu, Last Night. Senorita stood out as the breakout single. The video, directed by their elder brother Jude Okoye, was unlike anything Nigerians were used to seeing at the time. The dancing, the outfits, and the storyline, it all looked international. Young people connected to it instantly because the twins were fresh, stylish, and relatable. Though Last Night didn't sell millions, it was a stepping stone that earned them recognition and respect in Nigerian music industry. In fact, it won them the award for the best R&B group at the Amen Awards. For newcomers, that was a huge achievement. It meant that the industry was watching. Most importantly, the album laid the foundation for P Square's brand, a perfect blend of music and dance, a touch of international pop, and a dedication to quality visuals. At this point, their name was spreading across Nigerian campuses, and the twins were building a loyal fan base that was ready to follow them into the next stage of their careers. By 2005, P Square had been hustling for years, but everything changed with the release of their second studio album, titled Get Squared. This was more than just an album. It was their breakthrough, their statement to the world that they were here to stay. Released under their own label, Square Records, it was a bold declaration of independence and confidence. The twins were determined not just to be stars, but to build their own empire. The album exploded onto the scene with hits that took over Nigeria and soon spread across Africa. Busybody was the crown jewel, an anthem that every DJ had on repeat. Whether you were at a wedding, a nightclub, or a street party, Busybody was guaranteed to set places on fire. The rhythm, the catchy hook, and the synchronized dance moves made it irresistible. Even people who didn't know that the name P Square knew the song, and they danced to it. But the album wasn't just about party tracks. Songs like Story, Say Your Love, and Temptation revealed their versatility. They could deliver songs about love, hope, and struggle just as powerful as they could deliver dance hits. Paul's soulful voice carried the emotions, while Peter's electrifying energy on stage made the performances unforgettable. Together, they were a complete package. The success of Get Squared catapulted them into limelight. They bagged major awards including Album of the Year at the Hip Hop Awards, and for the first time, they would start touring outside of Nigeria. Their music videos, directed by their elder brother Jude Okoye, raised the bar for visual quality in Nigeria music industry. Sharp, stylish, and cinematic, these videos made fans see P Square as global superstars. It wasn't just about music anymore. Their style became part of the youth culture. Fans copied their hairstyles, their dance moves, and even their fashion sense. P Square had become more than musicians. They were trendsetters, a movement that inspired millions of African youths to dream big. And then in 2007, just when the world thought P Square couldn't go any further, they released their third studio album, titled Game Over, an album so successful that it became a landmark in African music history. The title was no exaggeration. For their competitors, it was really game over. The album was a treasure chest of hits. Do Me became an instant continental banger, lasting through radios and clubs not just in Nigeria, but in Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon, and South Africa. The infectious energy of the track made it one of the defining sounds of the late 2000s. Then there was No One Like You, a romantic ballad that instantly became the #1 wedding song across Africa. Nearly 2 decades later, it remains one of the most beloved love songs ever produced on the continent. Ifunanya revealed the emotional side, while Roll It kept the party spirit alive. This perfect mix of romance and dance made the album irresistible to everyone. Game Over went on to sell over 8 million copies, making it one of the highest selling albums in African music history, a record very few artists have ever touched. Awards and recognitions poured in. They bagged multiple MTV Africa Music Awards, Cora Awards, and countless local honors. Their dominance was so complete that for years, every music chart in Nigeria and beyond had P Square at the top. It wasn't just the records or the charts, it was the performance. On stage, P Square were a force of nature. Their shows had everything: live bands, pyrotechnics, jaw-dropping choreography, and an energy that kept fans screaming for more. They weren't just giving concerts, they were creating unforgettable experiences. It was during this period that fans and critics alike began to calling them the Michael Jacksons of Africa. By the end of the Game Over era, P Square had transformed from Nigerian stars into true African superstars. After the record-shattering success of Game Over, the pressure was on. Could P-Square keep the fire burning, or will they fade as just another one-hit wonder? The answer came in 2009 with the release of their fourth studio album titled Danger. The twins once again showed the world that they were not only consistent, but determined to push their sound beyond borders. Danger gave fans hits like You Know Easy, I Love You, and Gimme That. But the biggest triumph from this era came when You Know Easy caught the attention of French pop star Matt Pokora. Together, they recorded a remix that became a sensation in France and across Europe. Suddenly, P-Square were no longer just African stars. They were knocking on the doors of the global music stage. But the true international explosion came in 2011 with their next album, titled Their Inversion. This was not just an album, it was a statement. The twins were ready to conquer the world. Features and collaborations with global heavyweights, the project became a defining moment for Afrobeats' international rise. Chop My Money, featuring Akon and Mehdi, became a global anthem. From Lagos to London, New York to Paris, the catchy chorus had everyone singing along, even those who didn't understand a word of pidgin English. The music video, premiering on international platforms like MTV, marked one of the first times an Afrobeat track had such wide global reach. Then came the remix of Beautiful Onyinye featuring Rick Ross. Shot in Miami, the video brought the twins into American hip-hop spotlight and introduced them to a new audience who had never experienced African music at that scale. Later, they teamed up with rapper T.I. for a Jajo, blending Afrobeat with American hip-hop and proving that their sound could fuse seamlessly with global genres. At this point, P-Square had become true ambassadors of African music. They signed distribution deals with Universal Music South Africa and a partnership with Convict Music, Akon's label. Their music videos were premiering not just on African TV but on MTV Base, BET and international music channels. Their tours spanned Europe, North America and the Middle East, filling arenas and introducing African music to crowds that had never seen anything like it. The recognitions poured in. In 2012, they won MTV Europe Music Award for Best African Act, receiving nominations at the BET Awards and continue to dominate award shows across Africa. For many fans and critics, The Inversion was the album that cemented P-Square as a global pioneers, the very artist who laid the groundwork for Afrobeat superstars like Wizkid, Davido and Burna Boy to later break into international scenes. But P-Square's story wasn't just about the music. By the early 2010s, they had evolved into businessmen, celebrities and cultural icons. Their investments in real estate made headlines. Their most famous property, Squareview, was a massive mansion in Lagos where the twins lived side by side. It quickly became a landmark. Fans would gather outside its gates to just catch a glimpse of their idols. Their lifestyle also spoke volumes about their success. With a fleet of luxury cars, Bentley, Hummers, SUVs and sport cars, they represented a new era of Nigerian artists living like international superstars. They performed on private jets, a privilege very few African musicians could boast at the time. Endorsements rolled in. They became ambassadors for Globalcom, a multi-million naira deal, partnered with Guinness, Skol Beer, and other international brands, solidifying their status not just as musicians but as brands that corporations wanted to be associated with. And yet, despite the fame and fortunes, the twins remained connected to their fans. Peter was the extrovert, charismatic, playful, and always ready to share his fitness routines or fun moments on social media. Paul, on the other hand, quieter and more reserved, pouring his energy into songwriting and vocals. This contrast made them relatable. Fans could identify with one but still admire both. Behind the scenes, their elder brother Jude Okoye was the engine running the empire. As their manager and director, he crafted their image, shot their music videos, and kept P-Square brand sharp and consistent. For years, P-Square seemed unstoppable. Hit after hit, sold out concerts, international awards. On the surface, everything looked perfect, but behind the fame and success, cracks had begun to show. Fame, as sweet as it is, can also be poisonous. In 2014, rumors of disagreement within the Okoye family began making headlines. The issues, according to multiple reports, centered around management, finances, and creative control. Peter often felt sidelined, believing that Paul and their elder brother Jude, who managed the group, were making more of the key decisions. Fans began to notice subtle tensions during interviews, concerts, and even on social media. What had once been a united front now showed signs of strain. By 2016, the unthinkable happened. P-Square split. For millions of fans, it felt like a heartbreak. People had grown up with their music, dancing to Busybody at school parties, proposing with No One Like You, and celebrating life with Chop My Money. The idea that this magical duo was gone was almost too painful to accept. The twins pursued solo careers, Peter rebranded as Mr. P. Paul, on the other hand, became Rude Boy, staying closer to Afropop and soulful ballads that fans had always associated with his voice. Both artists found success individually, but the comparison never stopped. Social media lit up with debates: who was better, Mr. P or Rude Boy? But deep down, everyone knew the truth. The magic was greatest when they were together. Then in November 2021, something no one expected happened. The brothers reunited. A video of Peter and Paul hugging surfaced online, and the internet exploded with joy. For 5 years, fans had prayed for this moment, and now it was real. Their reunion was bigger than music. It was about forgiveness, brotherhood, and healing. They announced a concert in Lagos, and the night became one of the most emotional events in Nigerian music history. Tens of thousands of fans filled the venue, singing along to every hit: Busybody, No One Like You, Chop My Money. People laughed, cried, and danced, celebrating not just music but the unity of the brothers who had given them so much joy. The reunion tour went global. From London, New York, Toronto, Dubai, arenas were packed with fans, reliving the golden era of P-Square. It was as if time had stood still. The energy, the passion, the chemistry, it was all still there. For many, their reunion was more than just entertainment. It was a powerful lesson about family, forgiveness, and the strength of love over pride. It reminded the world why P-Square weren't just artists but legends who carried African sound to the global stage. Yet despite this heartwarming chapter, the story doesn't end there. In the years since their 2021 reunion, the brothers have once again taken different paths. Though they occasionally perform together, they are not currently functioning as united duo the way they once did. Each continues to pursue his own career, proving their individual talent, but for fans, the dream of a permanent P-Square comeback remains bittersweet. In the end, P-Square's story is bigger than music. It's about two brothers who turned their dreams into a global legacy. Their songs became soundtracks to weddings, club parties, and everyday life across Africa and beyond. And though their journey has seen splits, reunions, and challenges, one truth remains: P-Square changed African music forever. And whether together or apart, Peter and Paul Okoye will always be remembered as pioneers, legends, and icons who carried the sounds of Africa to the world. And as long as their music plays, their legacy will never fade. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next.